As far as what is truth, I would say that truth is a description that most closely and precisely aligns with reality to the degree needed for mutual understanding of a concept. Now, this definition inherently implies that there is an objective reality. As far as the knowability of that truth, it kind of depends. Take the existence of a tree, for example. The tree is objectively real. It is made of a certain number of a certain type of molecules that reflect a certain wavelength and thus have a certain color. That tree is what it is no matter who or what is around to perceive it. And if several people are around to view that tree, a lot of studies will tell you that each person is going to perceive the tree as a slightly different color. However, just because each person perceives the tree as a slightly different color doesn't mean that the tree doesn't reflect light at a certain wavelength and have one definite color. The differences in perception do not mean that each person has their own individual truth that is equally true, because they don't fully align with reality. If we had a perfect sensor and a unique word for each shade, we would be able to perfectly and truthfully tell the color of the tree. This is when the last part of my definition, to the degree needed to have mutual understanding, comes into play. This is basically related to the idea of having unambiguous terms. If there were 18 people at a gathering and someone asked you how many there were just to gain a general feel for the size of the party, and you said about 20, you haven't been untruthful because you've issued them a term that brings you both to a mutual understanding of the same concept. Most humans are equipped to know the truth of sensible things to a precise enough degree for all needed purposes. However, there are non-sensible truths that are still true regardless of perception or opinion. God, whatever his character is either exists and is true regardless of popular opinion. Under this definition of truth, the point of logic is to prove that your propositions most closely align with reality. And to assume this view of objective reality assumes both the fundamental laws of logic stated in the book, that you can't both be something and not be something at the same time in the same way. You can't both exist and not exist. This definition assumes essences, that truth should be debated in terms of Socratic logic, because mathematical logic, as the book points out, doesn't hold to the idea of essences, so you can't rely on the rule of non-contradiction. If there is a true reality, regardless of perception, then things have necessary and accidental attributes, like the book talks about. So, thus you have to prove the relation between two terms by comparing their necessary attributes, not just what they look like at the term, but what makes them what they are. They must be related to each other in a way that your conclusion inherently follows. It cannot be any other way. And they have true properties because you are describing an objective truth. And that's how truth relates to logic.